The story begins with Jensen Ames, who is an industrial worker and ex-convict. He learns that the steel mill where he works is shutting down and won't be paying the workers their full wages. That's why the workers are protesting in front of the industry. As frustration among the workers grows, anti-riot police arrive there. The police are responding to even the smallest provocation with violence. When Jensen sees his co-workers being beaten, he steps in and fights back. During the process, he takes down a few officers and the chaos come on. By the time Jensen makes it home, it's already night. He greets his wife and then goes upstairs to check on their baby, but he is completely unaware that a masked intruder has broken into the house while Jensen is upstairs. The criminal seizes the opportunity to murder his wife in the kitchen. When Jensen comes back downstairs, the man ambushes him from behind and knocks him unconscious. Before leaving, the intruder places the murder weapon in Jensen's hand and makes a taunting shooting gesture with his gloved hand. He had framed Jensen for the crime and left the house. By the time the police arrived there, Jensen wakes up moments later to find the police arresting him for his wife's murder. 6 months later, Jensen is transferred to Terminal Island Prison. Upon arrival, he is greeted by guard Rick, who sprays him with freezing water and also allows another officer to hit him. After that, the guard escorts Jensen to a cell shared with 3 other prisoners intent on beating him up. However, when Ulrich returns later in the hope of enjoying the aftermath, he sees that Jensen is a skilled fighter who has already knocked all his cellmates out cold. The next morning, Jensen heads to the mess hall for breakfast. He's quietly observed by prisoners Coach Gunner and Lists, who recognize him as a former champion driver whose record-breaking career ended in tragedy. The atmosphere suddenly shifts when 2 prisoners, Pinko and his friend, approach Jensen. They provoke him by spitting on his food and insulting him by calling him a wife killer and child abuser. Hearing this, Jensen snaps and attacks Pinko, but before the fight escalates, the guards intervene and drag him away to meet Claire Hennessy, who is the prison warden. In her office, Claire reveals that she knows all about Jensen's past as a phenomenal driver. She offers him a deal. She wants Jensen to take on the role of Frankenstein, who was the masked racer in this death race. The real Frankenstein died on the operating table after his last race, but the public doesn't know this yet. This makes it easy for someone else to take his place behind the mask. Frank was a fan favorite and an iconic legend, which is why Hennessy is determined to keep his death a secret. She needs the myth of Frankenstein to live on and revive the show's ratings. Since his passing, Hennessy tells Jensen that according to the rules, a driver earns their freedom after winning 5 races. Since Frankenstein had already won 4, Jensen would only need 1 more victory to secure his release. Despite the tempting prospect of freedom, Jensen hesitates because risking his life in a deadly race isn't a decision he takes lightly, but Hennessy won't take no for an answer. She threatens him with solitary confinement to ensure that he can't reveal her secret in the prison. Now Jensen is left with no choice but to agree with the offer. Jensen is then taken to the prison's auto shop where he meets Coach and his team, the mechanics responsible for maintaining Frankenstein's car. They explain the rules to Jensen. Every team operates independently, and there's no helping each other. Jensen also notices a large workshop where Hennessy has been secretly building something for weeks. Only a select few people, including Coach's team and a handful of guards, know Jensen is the new Frankenstein. Hennessy's control over the prison ensures her secret remains safe. After that, Coach introduces Jensen to his car, which is a heavily modified Mustang V8 Fastback. It's equipped with an array of offensive and defensive gadgets, but no ammunition is loaded on the car until race day to prevent prisoners from attempting an escape. The Coach tells Jensen that escaping is not an option from this hell, as the prison is on an island. The only way out is a narrow bridge which would be swarmed with police cars and helicopters at the first sign of a breakout. After getting familiar with the car, Jensen joins the team in the prison yard to continue their conversation. Coach explains the structure of the race, which is divided into 3 stages. In the first 2 stages, the goal is to eliminate as many opponents as possible. In the final stage, speed is the key to crossing the finish line. First, each driver is assigned a navigator who is typically a woman brought in from the women's facility. The only exception is Joe, who uses a team member instead. He's notorious for shifting through female navigators so quickly that it makes even the audience uncomfortable. Then a team member Lists begins briefing Jensen on the key drivers in the race, all of whom are present in the yard. There's 14K, who is a Triad member and MIT graduate. Then there is Hector Grimm, who is a certified psychopath who idolizes Hennessy. After that, we get introduced by Slovo Pachenko, who is the Aryan Brotherhood leader, and Travis Colt, who is a disgraced ex-NASCAR star. Their conversation is cut short when Joe and his crew approach Jensen. They insult Jensen and deliver the Message that this race is only between Joe and Frankenstein. Just then a van arrives in the prison, which is returning inmates from a work area. Jensen notices something unusual about their wrists. They're wearing GPS tracking bracelets on their hands. The sight triggers a realization to Jensen that the man who killed his wife had been wearing one of those bracelets too. The day of the first race stage finally arrives. Jensen is given Frankenstein's clothes, mask, and even his ring to complete the preparation his appearance. Jensen and Joe speed toward the bridge, but the police cars are closing and it's time for the next part of their escape plan. Jensen releases the extra half-gallon reserve tank which he had planned to drop earlier. The tank hits the pursuing police cars, causing an explosion and a fiery wall that blocks the path of police and prevents any more vehicles from following them. The two convicts managed to make it across the bridge gates. They then split up onto two different roads to confuse the helicopters that are hot on their tail. The helicopters focus on Jens as he is the most important target. Meanwhile, Case agrees to help Jensen with the final stage of the plan because she feels she owes it to Frank. And since Hennessy has already given her release papers, she's confident they'll let her go once it's all over. As they drive past construction cranes, Jensen takes the opportunity to leap off the car and hide beneath their shadows. Case takes over the wheel and drives a little farther before the helicopters force her to stop with a wall of fire. When she exits the car with her hands raised in surrender, she's wearing Frank's clothes and mask, so now she has taken his place. This twist leaves everyone confused. The Case is now assuming the identity of Frankenstein and helping Jensen to escape from Hennessy's grip. Case is arrested by the cops and taken back to prison while Jensen successfully escapes. He meets up with Joe and the two board a train together, leaving the chaos behind them. Meanwhile, in the prison offices, watches as the ratings soar to new heights with congratulatory gifts already rolling in. He opens a gift box only to find it contains the bomb that himself had planted under Jensen's car. Just then the bomb detonates, killing both Rhee and Hennessy. In the explosion outside, Coach can be seen having activated the detonator, ensuring that the two corrupt figures are taken down. 6 months later, Jensen and Joe have settled in Santa Rosalia, Mexico. They have started fresh with a new life. They now run their own auto shop, working together as mechanics. Jensen has regained custody of his daughter, and everything seems to have fallen into place. Case is also now free after her release papers were finally processed. She visits them and brings a racing car for them to check out. I hope you liked today's story. If you liked this video, if yes, then like it and subscribe to the channel and leave a nice message in the comment.